fun begins.
How's it going?
Hello.
Well, greetings, young Jedi. Hello there.
What's up, everyone? Highway Toy Reviews here, and welcome to my weekly Black Series ranking. Today, we are going to be ranking all 12 Black Series that Hasbro released for Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker. Now, I know that's an unpopular movie. Keep that out of the comments. I get that it's not everyone's favorite movie. I had a good time watching it. I have all 12 figures on my shelf. I'm happy to have them. And pretty much all of them are pretty good figures, but just throwing it out there. Don't just come and dislike the video because you don't like the movie. There are 12 unique figures that Hasbro released for this movie. It's definitely the least coverage of any of the Disney films, and hopefully that trend is broken with Mando and Grogu, because I definitely need more than 12 figures from that movie. I guess I got to see the movie to know that for sure, but I want more than 12 figures because I'm really excited for it. So, that said, let's go ahead and jump into it and start ranking these 12 figures. So, let's go. So, in spot number 12 is the First Order Stormtrooper. He comes packed with some riot gear and a pistol, and there are two versions, the first edition and the main line. The difference is the box is white, so it's not going to affect the figure, nor will any of the other first edition figures be affected, so clarifying that. The First Order Stormtrooper has been improved on slightly in this release from its initial Force Awakens drop. The elbows are slightly more articulated, but not by any significant range. Also, the helmet sculpt has been tweaked to be a little bit more like the later sequels, because small changes happened in the mouth portion of the helmet on the costuming end of things, like behind the scenes at Lucasfilm. So it's been modified to fit that a little bit more, but ultimately it still just has some things that are very frustrating. 2019 was like really when the Black Series was starting to pivot into doing some really awesome stuff. So it was just a little bit frustrating to get like a 2015 figure repacked as like the big thing. It would have been cool to get a new First Order Stormtrooper sculpt, but it was just not meant to be this time. In spot number 11 is the First Order Elite Snowtrooper. So I'm going to be honest, the First Order Snowtrooper as a sculpt is actually a pretty good figure. I like the articulation. It's, from that 2015 era, it's one of the better figures from the first film. And then this figure is just that with a big fluffy cape added to the back of it. And for what it is, it's totally fine. My one and only real gripe with the sculpt is it's a little bit short. Like, he's like 5.5, 5.75 inches tall. So he's just, when you put him with all the other troopers, he's just noticeably the short guy, and by like not a tiny margin. So it stands out a bit. I would have really liked to see them maybe tweak, maybe just lengthen the legs a little or something. There could have been something done here to fix that. But otherwise, it's still a very nice looking sculpt. And I'm going to be honest, all 12 of these figures are generally decent, at least 11 on. So still a good pickup in my personal opinion. In spot number 10 is Supreme Leader Kylo Ren. So this is reusing the body from The Last Jedi Kylo Ren, and considering he's wearing the same outfit, that's fine. But you would hope with that amount of reuse that it would give Hasbro the opportunity to give you like more accessories, and they just didn't. So this Kylo Ren is wearing his repaired helmet, because that was a big thing for the marketing, that Kylo fixes his helmet in this movie. But even though Kylo fixes his helmet, he doesn't wear it that much. And while it makes for a good action figure, here we are, 2026, we have yet to get a photoreal Adam Driver likeness. And this was when the photoreals were starting to get pretty good. So I just kind of wish that we'd gotten the swappable or a removable helmet. I wish we had an Adam Driver likeness come with this figure. That really could have helped boost it up. Otherwise, it's just that same Kylo Ren that, we got a couple years before, but with a new helmet. And he has that rubber cape that kind of sucks. I wish it had the soft goods. So, yeah, it's okay. It's not a bad figure, but we just have better stuff coming. In spot number 9 is Zori Bliss, and for her screen time, I feel like they did a pretty good job with the figure. She's got a burgundy bodysuit thing going on with the helmet and then the pirate-looking pistols. They did a pretty good job replicating the figure. I like that the visor comes off so you can see her eyes through the helmet as you can in the movie. Just an interesting figure, but a character that just didn't really she was there briefly, and that's kind of like what she did. She got the plot rolling in the second act a little bit. She's a fine figure, and I think that if you like the sequels, she probably should be on your sequel trilogy shelf. And you can pick her up pretty cheap because, well, any sequel figure you can get cheap, but she still is sitting at some ollies, like to date, so you should be able to go get her fairly cheap if she in any way interests you. She is a good figure, honestly. In spot number 8 is Jana. So, unlike Zori Bliss, Jana does kind of help out for the rest of the movie after she shows up in like the middle of the movie. She has a unique design. She's wearing a very like tattered outfit. Obviously, things that have just kind of been put together to work. Various bits of things woven into the material. She has that interesting bow going on. And it's a very nice head sculpt with good photoreal. She's a good adaptation of the character into action figure form. She's again just one of those characters where it's like you probably wouldn't miss her if she's not on the shelf, but she was a decent part of this movie, so I do advise you putting her on your shelf if you like this movie, but there's just some cooler stuff upcoming, but she's still a very good figure. Spot number 7 is 3PO, and he comes packed with Babu Frick, so honestly, he should be number 1 on the list. But no, this 3PO is actually a really unique addition to the line. So this 3PO is based on the prior figures that we'd gotten, but they tweaked him a little bit. He has a unique head sculpt that you can remove the back panel of, so you can access his wiring and his memory core, so you can recreate Babu Frick, working on him like he does in the movie. He's carrying Chewbacca's bowcaster and bandolier because they kind of just have him do that while they're rescuing Chewbacca from the Star Destroyer. There's like a lot of cool stuff going on there, and he has this cool gimmick where if you pop him in the freezer for a couple of minutes, his eyes turn red, like when he's translating the ancient Sith writing. It's a really fun action figure, and then it still maintains the already pretty good sculpt that we had for 3PO at the time. So all around, I gotta say, this 3PO is actually a pretty fun figure, and I do generally like him. I think he's a pretty good addition to the sequel shelf. In spot number 6, I'm putting the Knight of Ren. Now, we only got one of them, and this is the one with, like, the waffle iron faceplate. He's a pretty cool figure. He comes with that melee bladed weapon. He has some sandy effects going on because he's on whatever that desert planet they briefly were on. He's actually a pretty cool design. He has some good articulation. And it's just kind of sad that this guy's kind of been forgotten about, left in the dust. He's a ancient artifact at this point. Hasbro never came back and finished this team. They never even gave him a teammate. So he's just kind of a random guy on the shelf next to Kylo Ren. I think I would really like these guys more if we had, even if not the whole team, just more of them in general. And honestly, they're something that I hope Hasbro does more of just in general, like at the higher end of my desired list for this trilogy. So hopefully the Knights of Ren get completed someday. Spot number 5 goes to Darkside Ray. She's the only one to have made it into the Galaxy angled side packaging, and she features some reuse from the Ventress figure, but she's generally a really good figure. She has a nice likeness to Daisy Ridley. She kind of has like the sunken in cheeks slightly. She's very sinister looking. I like her robes and how they turned out, and her switchblade lightsaber, like flip out double bladed action, whatever it is. Really, really cool. She's blinking, you miss it. You only see her during that brief vision scene on the second Death Star, but still a very cool figure and one that I'm glad got made into the line. This movie in general really just focused on the new characters and the troopers, so getting something a little bit more niche from this movie was just really cool ultimately. Spot number 4 goes to the Sith Trooper, and I'm going to lump in the Comic-Con promotional one too, because it comes with a couple extra guns that don't even appear in the movie, so it's like, what incentive is that really to me to put them on the shelf? I consider them all equal. The Sith Trooper is a really cool design. It is very striking in its crimson red with the line work all over the armor. It's super cool. And this was one of the first troopers that the Black Series did that had that really good modern articulation without the double pin knees and the single joint like deep cut elbows. This guy could strike some awesome poses, and I just love everything about the aesthetic of the Sith Trooper. A very, very well done figure, and just this was where Hasbro proved that they could do a good trooper going forward, and they've done very well since they announced this guy. In spot number 3 is the Sith Jet Trooper. Now, everything I liked about the Sith Trooper, I also like about the Jet Trooper mold in general. It's just a really, really striking design, and it has some excellent modern articulation. There are no poses that you could want to put this guy in that he can't do. I mean, just a very, very good figure. And this figure is just incredibly worthy of spot number 3. I really love his blaster weapon he comes with. He's just super fun to pose. And ultimately, number 2, I'm going to spoil it, is where it is just because I kind of like white armor more. So let's get into number 2. Spot number 2, as mentioned, is the First Order Jet Trooper. The Sith Jet Trooper is the same armor repainted red. Nothing wrong with that. It's what they did in universe. It's fine. But the First Order Jet Trooper, I just think is a little bit cleaner in that white and black deco. I've always liked the white and black trooper design. The red Sith Troopers are very visually striking, and they're cool, but I kind of like that they're contained to that one faction. We haven't gotten random red guys in The Mandalorian or whatever. So the First Order Jet Trooper, again, everything is said about Sith Jet Trooper. The sculpt is amazing. The articulation's superb. They did a great job on this figure, and much like the Sith Trooper, it was just another one of those figures where Hasbro was saying, hey, these armored guys, we can articulate the snot out of them. So First Order Jet Trooper, very highly regarded in my opinion. Spot number 1 goes to Rey and Dio. So this Rey figure is excellent in my opinion. Her white outfit from Rise of Skywalker is just superb, and Hasbro nailed it. I love the photo reel on her. This is one of the best Daisy Ridley likenesses I have seen in action figure form, period. And the inclusion of the little wheel droid Dio, very cute little guy. I like that he was included. She comes with all the accessories you would want her to, with her staff, her lightsaber, her blaster. The articulation is just a step up from every prior Rey. Just such a well done figure. I really love everything going on with this version of her. This is definitely like the definitive Rey figure, or just of the sequel era. This is just such a good look for the character. I am partial to the Last Jedi blue outfit. I'd like to see Hasbro redo that at some point, but like of all of them we've gotten so far, easily this is the best one. Just great work on this, Hasbro. So that's it on my Rise of Skywalker figure ranking. What do you think? Am I anywhere near right? Am I totally off the mark? Fire off in the comments below. Keep it chill. Remember, I'm ranking the toys. I'm not talking about the movie, so be cool. Be cool about that. I know you probably didn't like it. Let's just talk about the toys from it. So that's all I really got to say. This was a really fun ranking. It's always fun getting a little bit of a shorter list. But anyway, I'm going to go work on some other videos. May the Force be with you. Thank you for hanging out with me. I'll see you next time. Until then, bye.